Rise, bastards of Zeus! Judgment now pray for divine inside. Rise! Masters of Zeus! Just remember your calling. Wake up now to your throne. Burn in the blood of the fallen. Life is all, now building in for redemption. All life lost in the fractures of servitude. Unforgiven forever in endless the reckoning God.
Kerry Thibodaux with Killhammer, vocalist for Killhammer. Cold Comfort Brewing brewer, and let's see, Gulf Coast Metal Alliance founder and national president. All right, so a couple of bands started approaching me in 2016 about doing some beer for them and stuff, and we at around the same time we started talking about starting the Gulf Coast Metal Alliance, and the 5 bands that played at the first annual, or I guess it wouldn't have been first annual at that time, but the 5 bands that played there played at a place in Florida, and that's where we came up with the idea. And there were 5 bands from 4 different states: Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana, and it felt good doing that show. Everybody was being, in camaraderie and all that stuff. So what we did was we sat down after the show and said we got to do this more, and we went and designed the Gulf Coast Metal Alliance then with the intention to expand with other bands, fans alike, just to get more people at shows and stuff. Shows have kind of like going up and down the whole time I've ever been involved with music. So it's had its peaks, and everybody gets older. Some people even fall out of music and don't even attend shows, let alone quit playing music. So what that was inspired to do was to try and get more people involved into the scene. Getting back to the beer part of it, somebody had asked me how they can get a beer from one of the bands that I was making beer for, and they're out of Pensacola. They were Grim War, one of the bands at that show that happened in January of 2017. And I told them, you have to go to one of their shows. I don't make the beer and then keep a bunch at my house. I give it to the bands. So when that guy asked me how you can get that beer, I was like, you got to go to a show. So what I wound up doing was getting all those bands involved. We all made a beer, individual specialty beer for each one of those bands, and then we had the very first festival. It worked out to where we did it a second time, and third and fourth, and now we're coming upon the fifth time. So people could get tickets through any of the bands that are playing. All the bands have tickets. And then they could go through Gulf Coast Metal Alliance Facebook and message, and we do PayPal or Cash App. And what we could do is send the ticket, send proof that the ticket's been sent, and then also put you on a list in case something happens to the ticket through the mail. Some people are a little wary about it. We can also do will call, where we'll hold it, give you the ticket when you show up, punch it, and then give you the bracelet. The other thing is people keep asking about it being a beer and a metal fest, being all day long. Since the very beginning of the festivals, we had free camping, so anyone that comes in could camp, because we'd rather no one drink and drive. Bring tents, bring canopies, stuff like that. You're gonna want ice coolers with some water in it. You're also going to want to bring some SPF, whatever number you want to bring, because you'll be in the sun, in the heat. We try and provide a little bit of shade. There's a lot of pine trees around, so there's some shade right there. We do a little horseshoe all the way around the pavilion that's out there, and a lot of people also ask if there's going to be racing, because it's at the Gulfport Dragway, but there's no racing that day. I think that would take away from the bands, and with the beer and everybody out there getting all revved up, with racing, it probably wouldn't do great for, the metal scene. Yes, pretty much what it is we know that metal gets a bad rap from time to time. So what we do is we go and find all the good apples, and we make sure that we're not associating with anyone that's going to do any kind of crazy stuff. In fact, we do a bunch of benefits about 3 times a year. We do one for Feed My Sheep. That's around Thanksgiving time, and then it alters that one. It goes to the veterans, like Homeless Veterans Association, where we're getting them food or getting them any kind of help with clothing. And then around Christmas time, we do a St. Jude's event. It started out with my friend Corbin Andera. He's out of the Louisiana chapter of the GCMA, and he said, look, man, I put this show together. One of his favorite bands, Suicide Silence, did like a bunch of Christmas help, and they documented it and stuff, and it was part of their home video and all that, and that was his favorite band. He saw that and he was like, I want to help. So that inspired him to do something in his local area, and it was a St. Jude's event. And the first one, he put about 4 or 5 bands on there, and it worked out pretty good. He told me he was happy. He gained about $900. And the second year we did it at the Hot Spot on Pass Road, and we put about 10 bands on there, and we wound up getting about, I want to say, close to $4,000, and he was just floored. We pulled in people that were actually helped by St. Jude before, and they wanted to, as soon as they found out we were doing that, they wanted to help out and put money to it. That organization, they don't make anything off of it. They don't charge anybody anything. Anyone they help, they do it free of charge. So that's having a big heart to try and gain any kind of money or anything for that purpose. So we try and help out, and it's not to get notoriety. It's just to show people that we're really, not douchebags, and we do what we can to help our community. It's what we're going to do is going to go way beyond our music scene or music community. We're going to try and help the community where we live. In Louisiana, it's been pretty close to a year, but we're trying to do something for the MS Society over in Louisiana. One of our brothers from the Louisiana chapter, his son contracted MS, or I don't know, contracted's the right word, but he has it, and we're trying to do something for that whole community over there. We've had people here in Mississippi, parents that actually got it, and we knew what it was about, and as soon as we heard that one of our own was having to deal with it, we tried to do what we can to help. So we do that in any kind of sense. I watch a lot of Crescent City Gumbo, which is a podcast out of Louisiana, and they do all kind of drives and stuff. So I'm always sending money to Dominique Listeau over there and helping him out, because what he doesn't gain any kind of money or access to any of that stuff. What he does is he helps out, gets the word out, and people follow into it, man, and then they help. So every little podcast like that kind of helps out the whole scene, the whole situation. So we kind of vet people for a little while. As soon as we find out that they're actually, not, trouble starters and toxic people, we bring them on board. People ask all the time, what do they have to do? What you do is what you would normally do in any situation. You go to shows, you support bands by buying merchandise. I mean, you're going to do that kind of stuff anyways. So you just do your own little metal thing. If people are like, hey man, I can't go to a show, I got my kids this weekend, we tell them just share that show anyways. Get out there and share it to all your friends, and every little bit helps. Word of mouth is probably one of the best advertising type things to do out there. So we tell people all the time, just share it. That's the least you could do, either being involved with us or just hanging out and not being a member. We do shows all the time, and it has our shield on it, and it doesn't mean every band that's on that show is a member. We have bands that are membered bands, we have individual people that are members, and then we run with a secondary group down here and they're called the Mississippi Death Militia, which is part of the New York Death Militia. So some of the members in Killhammer are actually in there, and the other members are in the Gulf Coast Metal Alliance, and we work together as best as we can within the politics of each club. So we don't have any problem with those guys, they don't have any problem with us, and we try and make GCMA open arms kind of thing. But again, we do vet to make sure that we're not going to have any trouble starters amongst our group. There's a meme on Facebook, and it says every band was started as a local band. So, we try and support local as much as we possibly can, and we try and get local bands on with as big of an artist as we can possibly get our hands on. So we did a little gig at the Hotspot, and we had Mark Rizzo, and he used to play for Soulfly, and before then he was with El Nino. Now he's back with El Nino, and they're touring right now, man. And right before that tour took off, he hit me up and said, hey, let's do a gig, man. I had a good time in Gulfport. He played the fourth annual Metal and Beer Fest, and he plays backing tracks, but he sits up there and he blazes that guitar. And at the end of the night, he sat there and talked with everybody, signed autographs, took pictures, and just stood around and really drank and hung out with us. I think now he's alcohol free, and he's, last time I went to go pick him up at the airport for that show at the Hotspot, he told me that, he goes, well, I don't drink anymore, but I'm still fun. And it's like, and we had a great time that night, man. And again, he like hung out with everyone. People would just be passing by, and he's like, you want a photo? And somebody's like, who the hell are you? And he just kind of look at us, and we'd laugh and stuff, but the dude's really, really cool. We try and make sure that the metal is not just one-sided. There's so many different genres of metal. We try and make sure that we adhere to all the metal. I mean, if that's one thing that I'm doing, I'm going to make sure that everyone can be involved. because there's some people that are stuck on one type of music. There's some people that kind of don't like some of the other stuff. Like some people don't like slam metals, or some people don't. You know, you got the people out in the pit doing the karate and stuff. We try and tell people, look, save that for another show. You know, we don't want people just to stand there either. You know, we want people to mosh, have a good time, but it's all about having a good time. We're all too old. There's people just barely moshing at some of these shows, and then somebody with a cane gets pulled up in it. You know, immediately we stop and everybody picks them up, and they're like, "Whoa, stay over here on the outskirts," you know. But you know, and that's just telling you one thing too. There's older people that are still wanting to come watch shows, so we try to be respectful for older people or anyone young just standing there watching and get sucked up in there. We're like, hey, they don't want to be in here. We push them back to where they can watch, and you know, but it's all for a good time, really. I mean, that's why we started playing it originally, was to get our friends to like what we were doing, and then our friends liked it, and then their friends liked it, and pretty soon you got a little scene going. You know, I mean, I've been doing this since '92 on this coast. I mean, that's a long time, but I'm gonna keep doing it until I can't. You know, I try and have as great a time out there as possible with the people of all ages. I mean, the new crowds are coming in, so we gotta show them how to be respectful and how to have a great time without having fights at their shows and stuff like that. And that's another thing. We try not to have any of that. And if something happens, you know, we pay attention to it, but we're not a fight club first and foremost, and we're not out there trying to dictate who does what. We're just gonna make sure we're having a good time, and that's what it all comes out to.
Non-stop, ruthless crushing. With fire northern flame. Raging beholder, tyrants disdain. Burns houses run without illusion. Go out on the fortune lies of the motherfucking bitches. Return to weak and smart, murder sentence. Every time the blood and blood, fearless better.
I'm Jason Ramsey, guitar and vocals of Skulldozer.
Mike Spurlock, bass player for Skulldozer.
Metal and Beer Fest 5 is coming up Saturday. This coming up Saturday was the 21st. 9 bands, pretty much all day long. I think it starts around noon. There's going to be food there. I think a couple of food vendors. There'll be free camping on site. Metal all day long, and then all the bands have their own signature home brewed beer.
Yes.
We'll be debuting.
All different.
Yeah, everybody's got their own kind. Kerry Thibodaux from Cold Comfort Brewing, is that what it's called?
And Killhammer and GCMA.
That's right.
He brewed all the beers for every band that's on the lineup, and they're all unique and different.
Yeah, we'll have our own flavor, I guess, to be considered.
We have the black lager.
We got the black lager.
Death.
Ruthless Crushing Black Lager.
Last year was a pretty big event for GCMA. That was one of the biggest events, I think, ever. We had Mark Rizzo on the lineup back then. And I would say there's at least 100 to 150 people there. All banging heads and supporting everybody there.
That's right. And this is the last week to get pre-sale tickets, so hit us up. We got tickets. And come party with us. It's going to be a good one.
All day.
All day.
Ruthless crushing.
Metal and beer. So Skulldozer's been around. This August will be a solid year. I grew up here on the coast, and then I've been gone for a lot of years. I moved back last August and called all these guys in. I already had some songs ready to go. That's how we kind of got started. And then once everybody got in, you know, now we've all got our input into the songs and stuff. And so yeah, we've been a band for about a year. We've already pumped out our first EP, just trying to, you know, establish ourselves on the coast and have a product to sell. And so now we're just, you know, working that CD out there and playing shows and promoting. And
so it started with Jason, Brian, and Joel, I do believe. And then last year's Beer Metal Fest, I played with Dread from Mobile for several years. And we got done with our set, and Jason come and asked me if I would want to be part of this
snuck
project.
up on him. I said,
was
hey,
like,
good looking.
Fuck yes. I want to be part of this.
The difference is there's no more paper flyers. Hardly anybody does that anymore. I think it's a lost art. I love it. I think it's very effective.
Exactly right.
I still try to use it as much as possible, but the truth is everybody's on their little brainwash box, and that's where most people get information.
Everybody's tuned into the phones. So streaming social media is the platform right now.
But back in the day, we used to hand make our own paper flyers and go to the mall and pass them out. There was the head shop over there that's not there anymore.
You'd put a bunch of pictures together, then you would
Xerox a master copy.
Master copy, and that was done.
And then Xerox that a million times. As of right now, we do have a single out. Skull fucking Domination is what it's called. Pardon my French. You can find it on YouTube.
Yep, YouTube.
And we're on all the social medias, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook.
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp.
Also on Bandcamp.
Not GarageBand, Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find our products on there. We've got T-shirts and stickers, selling our brand new CD. It's called Nonstop Ruthless Crushing. 6 songs of brutal Southern Coast metal.
It is.
And we are planning on shooting a music video pretty soon. The talks are in the air. Talking to Gene Broome about it, so.
That's right.
Love Gene.
Yeah.
We love Gene too.
Yeah,
Gene's awesome.
very
He's
talented.
the
Gene's
most
great.
awesome local photographer I know.
Yeah, he's great. Great guy.
True.
So for Beer and Metal Fest, the festivities will start at 12 noon, I do believe. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And every band in this whole lineup are epic and have been around for many years, from Florida to Louisiana. You can't go wrong with any of them, although we will probably be at about dark. I
Yeah,
think we're
about 8
probably
p.m.
About 7 or 8 o'clock before Skulldozer will
That's
hit
right.
the stage.
So come check it out, Metal and Beer
Killhammer.
Fest.
And then Decrypting Humanity.
I'm Gene Broome, and I'm with Spade Images and Production, LLC. It's a really crazy story. Really with the cameras and whatnot, it really started probably around December of 2021. I was looking around to take pictures like portraits and whatnot, but I called a guy named Terry McCormick. Everybody pretty much knows Terry. I called him. I was like, hey, I'm pretty interested in doing some concert style photography. And he was like, well, come on over to the cannery, and we got a little show. I think Holy Lightning was playing that night. So I showed up and I did the whole night. I shot Holy Lightning and edited it within 24 hours, sent it back to him, and figured they'd be mediocre pictures. But he ended up liking them, and I think the next day he was like, hey, meet me back at the cannery. And that's when Haley Green had a concert going on. And then Haley was like, man, please do my pictures tonight. And it just been kicked off in high gear after that. So it's been every weekend, every other day. If I was off from work, I was shooting pictures. You know, I was in the music scene about 12 years back. Really wanted to get back in the scene somehow, you know, if it was like doing a podcast or maybe just hang around a little bit. I really missed it and whatnot. So, I don't know, I just picked up the camera. It was like, hey, I can do some good, you know, help promote these bands. Got some really talented people out there, you know. A good bucket list would be CPR Fest, you know. I would love to have a all access pass to that, but having all these other little festivals about to happen, like Mega Fest and Metal and Beer Fest. It's really an honor to be able to, you know, get to do all them, especially being asked to, you know. So I'm really excited about it. I have been doing like portraits and prom stuff like that. You know, I do all that, but I really shine in like low light. You know, I have my gear is ready for like little to no light. So once you put the sun in my face, it's like that's a different beast I'm not used to, you know. But I have been recently. I went to Wiggins and did some prom photos and whatnot from my boss's daughter. But they turned out pretty good too. There's some things in the mix with that got some ideas. You know, one is with Andrew, the artist. He wants to do like take a picture and him paint it and see if how it works. But as of right now, we're still trying to figure out like the pricing and whatnot. We have an understanding of where these bands has got to make money, but at the same time they need promotions. So we understand that, and as of right now, it's hard to put a price on something that you really love. And I'm not really, haven't been ready yet, but sooner or later, the money will come. You can go to my Facebook page. It's Spade Image and Productions LLC, or of course hit my phone. Most people know my phone number. It's 228-236-5197. Call, text. I will always answer.
We're going?
Wolves amongst sheeple. Society and now that destroys every aspect of your life. The nightmare you find, take shape in life.
Cat Scratch Fever, son.
I was in a couple cover bands. That was one of our best songs, man.
No,
Get
you
on that
didn't.
wah on that bass. Ooh, son,
Yeah, it's
awesome.
badass. Me and Scott used to play that bitch.
Yeah, which one? Okay.
Alright, so,
Let's go, man.
All right.
We the people.
Action.
alright, so introduce yourselves.
All right. Jason's gonna announce the name of the band. But I'm the motherfucking strong. Period. Go, Jay.
I'm Jason Ramsey. I'm the guitarist and vocalist of Skulldozer.
John Stepp, drummer, Skulldozer.
Mike Spurlock, bass player, Skulldozer.
Did I need to say I play guitar?
You said that.
Let's do it again. Let's do it
Elephant
again.
in the room.
Run it.
Called up my old bud and said, let's do something heavy.
See how hard he slapped my shoulder.
Yep. And he knew exactly who to call. We all kind of have the similar tastes in metal. So that goes pretty good.
Lord have mercy.
Bandcamp also.
You ain't said shit. Come on.
What? Oh my God, this boy right here.
Do it.
It's primed up.
There you go.
Right.
I ain't afraid of this shit, dude.
I'm afraid of that.
I love cameras. I've been with cameras since I was 15. It'll be okay.
Oh boy.